Hello everybody, gonna do a full moon in Gemini reading today. And Gemini brings up a lot of great energy as far as healing and transformation. So the three questions I'm gonna ask today are, number one, what do we need to release? What is it that we need to let go of? Question number two highlights relationship issues. A lot of issues come up with the relationships anytime Gemini is prominent, so we're going to look at relationships. The third question we're going to look at is the twin energy, that duality, that dark and the light, the soft and the strong, the male and the female, the yin and the yang, the shadow work. Is there anything about duality that needs to be brought to the surface and talked about? So the first question, I'm going to use my soul coaching deck, and the question is, what do we need to release? The way I pull my cards, and I'm actually offering a special right now, a new moon special. If I offer 1, 2, and 3 question videoed tarot oracle readings, 1, 2, 3 question options. I email you your reading video within 14 days, but the first 5 that book today, they're going to get their reading within 24 hours. And probably if I have some extra time tomorrow, so I might be able to answer the first 10 within 24 hours. Can't promise that, but I have 1, 2, 3 question options. If you want to book that, go to my story, I posted it, and swipe up and make your selection. Okay, so question number 1, what do we need to release? And I ask questions for the collective consciousness. I ask to be a channel, and I ask to touch the most people as possible. So take what you need and leave the rest. Okay. I need to pull 3. Okay. And that one there. Okay. So we've got our 3 cards about what needs to be released in this Gemini full moon cycle. And Gemini is the energy of thinking. You know, it's an air sign. Can be a real outside the box type way of thinking. So let's look at what these 3 cards are that came up. And often when I pull one card, it doesn't make sense. When I put them together, I ask, okay, what was the question I asked? So I asked, what do we need to release? The first thing I got was gratitude. This is a glorious time to be alive, and I am so grateful. So there's people out there that are not being appreciative for what we have. And this comes up a lot at the holidays. I think this is driven by the commercialism of, buying things to make people happy at the holidays. And we sort of forget to pay attention to our gratitude of what we do have. Is it going to serve your soul to spend $2,000 on gifts and not be able to pay your rent or your mortgage, or overextend your credit cards just to make a happy day, and then you suffer financially? So somebody really needs to look at that gratitude, attitude of gratitude, and keeping gift giving simple. It doesn't have to be a money competition. It's really the thought that counts. So what else needs to be released? A card I pulled was light, and it says that my light radiates through my life and through the world around me. So somebody is not trusting that their light is bright and that their light is able to radiate through. There's someone that's really questioning themselves, and I feel a lot of pressure and judgment from other people, and I'm sensing that this specifically relates to light workers. The holidays can be an interesting time for light workers because a lot of us are not necessarily religious. We're spiritual, and we may not align with all of the religious principles of our family members, which to them is very important. And that doesn't invalidate their experience or their journey. But radiate your own light. You don't have to convince your uncle to believe in what you believe. Metaphysics and Christianity don't always mix. So you don't always have to convince people of your beliefs, but it's respectful to listen to each other, and just let your light radiate, and not let that. Don't be triggered by that. That's wrong. That metaphysical stuff is the devil. You need to be Christian. You need to be Muslim. You need to be Hindu. You need to be Jewish. Whatever it might be. Everyone has their. Spirituality and religion is a very individual choice. It's often taught to us from our parents, but to truly feel it on a soul level, it's something that an individual needs to develop from within. So shine your own light within, and be okay if that doesn't resonate with other people around you. Your spirituality is your sacred truth. It doesn't need to be anybody else's. All right, so that's some stuff that we've got to release. The next card I got about release was focus. All of my thoughts are directed towards my highest good. So if someone's not necessarily focused, you can see that there's a full circle here, and the intention is to focus on the light. So there's been some distraction. So we've got to let go of distractions. And the other thing that's jumping out to me about this card is that our thoughts help create what it is. Our focus and our thoughts manifest what it is we want to create. All right, so question number 2 about highlights about relationship issues. I'm going to use my heart deck here. Okay. All right, that one needs to be pulled. That one needs to be pulled. And that one needs to be pulled. All right. So like I said, when I pull one card at a time, the one card may not make sense, but once I combine the 3, I get a bigger picture of what the message is. So, highlights around relationship issues. The first thing I got was shine, but I'm seeing that this woman looks like she's really alone. So what I'm feeling is what's coming up for some people is that there's some people that are really putting a lot of their energy into the relationship, and that energy is not being reciprocated. You can see she's sending this energy out. There's nobody else in the picture. It's not being reciprocated. So pay attention to relationship situations where you're sending out all the light, doing all of the work, and that flow's not being reciprocated. The other card I got about what's coming up around for people with relationship issues is dreams coming true. Oh my God. As soon as I pulled this card, I started seeing lots of engagement rings being pulled out at Christmas. But I do want to caution people to not get too swept up in the energy of the holiday, and make sure you think through whether you truly want to spend the rest of your life with this person. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do or ruin any proposals, but I do see a lot of rings coming out, but I don't necessarily see that all of those rings that are pulled out are pulled out for relationships that are really meant to be long term. So just sort of be mindful about what you say yes to. And the holidays, there's a lot of dreaminess and idealism, and make sure you stay grounded if you make any decisions about relationships. The last one I got about this question was the card Vitality. And when I see these colors, what it means to me is it represents the different chakras. And of course he's playing a flute, so there's issues with listening. Okay, I'm getting some more imagery clairvoyantly. When I pull cards, I look at the cards. I don't use the books. I pull the cards, I look at the colors, I tap into the story, and then I use my clairvoyant abilities, clairsentient, clairaudient, clairgustant, and I go from there. There's a lot of communication that's occurring, and this is a complex sort of thing that I'm seeing. In relationships with communication, one person might be saying one thing, but they're actually saying like a whole lot of other stuff. So don't just listen to the one sentence, to the one part of the conversation. Pay attention to the energy of it. Pay attention to the flow. You know, there's with voice, you create vibrational frequencies. So pay attention to the communication. There's a possibility for some miscommunication if one person isn't necessarily hearing the same sound that you are. So that's something to look at. Okay, so question number 3. I'm going to use my Soul deck, Soul Journeys deck. This third question is about twin energy, duality, yin yang, shadow work, masculine, feminine energy. What do we need to know to grow and heal through this cycle? Okay, that one needs to be pulled. Okay. Pulling different. I'm pulling cards until I get the story. Okay? What do we need to know about our duality? And I'm pulling pairs of cards. Okay. So, the first, what do we need to know about duality? The first two cards I pulled were regret and happiness. So for people out there, that's the duality. That's the yin, the yang. If you have this complete regret, you always are second guessing yourself. You're not going to have the happiness. When you have the happiness, you're going to be able to let go of the regret and know that everything happens for a reason. So that's duality question answer number 1. Number 2 is, and this couldn't be more clear, death and abundance. Okay, so death doesn't necessarily need to mean physical death. It can mean energy death, relationship death, circle of life, chapter of life death, and abundance is sort of the opposite of that. So that's the duality that a lot of people are going to be facing. So when you're faced with a loss, look at when something's pulled away, something else is meant to replace it. You know, if you're focused on this can't come in. If this goes away, you can attract this. So look at the duality of death and abundance. Now these 2 cards are self-esteem and perseverance. And what I'm sensing is poor self-esteem through perseverance. So there's people out there that their self-esteem is affecting their ability to push on and persevere. But that self-esteem is not an actual true reflection of who you are. It's just the negative thoughts in your head, the story that you're telling yourself. So replace that negative self-talk story with a positive self-talk story. And, practice perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. That's what this card says. And the self-esteem card says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this full moon reading. There's lots of energy going on. We talked about duality. We talked about relationships. We talked about what we need to let go of. If you have a burning question, I am offering a new full moon special. My video tarot oracle card readings. I can video you your reading. The first 5 that book, I'll email you your video within 24 hours. I have some free time tomorrow, so I might be able to do more than 5, maybe 10. If you want to book a private, personalized reading, go to the link in my bio and click on Tarot Oracle Card Reading, or go to my story and swipe up. I'm happy to help you. And happy new moon, everybody. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye.